I forgot I can keep this going. I wanted to see how this just works. There's a fade in and out version.
Yeah.
They've been adding so much stuff. I didn't even want to bring you in early, but fuck it, you're here.
It's the Chicago boy and the Cleveland boy, just like the cities in today's trailers.
Well, this is how I get rid of you. That was what's happening, y'all. Let's be resident supervillain, Mr. J. Watson. Another one of these Let's Talk, where I just go here live talking about things that are happening right now. I got begged earlier this morning while I was editing trailer reactions to bring this person on, and reluctantly,
just for the one, just you can kick me off after the one. I don't care.
Oh, I'm not talking about that one first. Just not. So now you're here.
Okay, I didn't know if you'd listen. I thought you would do better than what Disney did and not bury the one that we know you love.
First of all, here's the thing. I'm gonna talk about that too. So that's Matt Thomas. Let's get that out the way. Let's get that part out the way. I know there are a lot of people who are going to talk about Disney's timing with this, who have been talking about Disney's timing with this, with the Ironheart trailer and everything. So look, first off, if you want to leave a comment, comments are open, super chats are open. I will take your support. You can send it through the Streamlabs at the bottom, all that stuff. Now, back to what I was saying. A lot of Alexa, turn on all of the lights, please.
Okay.
Thank you. It was dark in here, and it's still light outside. Anyway, a lot of people have been talking about Marvel Studios and Disney's. They're questioning what they were doing releasing the trailer to Ironheart today, right? And just not having released it a while ago. And I've said this on Mad Titan podcast. I've said this repeatedly when I've come here. Marvel Studios is in a tricky position with Ironheart because Ironheart is a series. It is not a movie. And where it is coming out is in the midst of everything that's about to happen for the summer. Meaning, not even just first off, not just Marvel Studios, but the entire summer movie and TV industry as a whole. But Marvel Studios this summer, where you've already had your tentpole in Thunderbolts drop, New Avengers, whatever you want to call it. Then in July, you've got Fantastic Four. Some people have been asking why they haven't released the trailer a long time ago, and I keep having to tell people, and I want your opinion on this once I get done.
Okay.
Keep telling people. You had Thunderbolts came out May 2nd. Thunderbolts needed as much promotion as it could get, especially because it was tracking low. And then they knew it only had an X amount of time to try to make IMAX money because Mission Impossible is about to drop next week. After Mission Impossible has its major run, then comes Fantastic Four, which you got to start promoting heavily. It is not to just directly dismiss Ironheart. Ironheart is a victim of circumstance, unfortunately. And like I said in Mad Titan, yes, it seems like all of the black-led thing, well, the most recent black-led properties get caught up in that. But also with Ironheart, not only just with the Marvel Studios film, like I said, you have the aforementioned Mission Impossible. You got all these different things you got F1, that's another major movie dropping on the 27th. You got all of these things dropping that no matter what, you're fighting for. So you were talking about how they buried it. It was a bad decision. Go ahead and speak to what you were saying.
Well, here's the thing. My thing is, I think this is the first time, and I'm going back and doing checks. Normally, the shows that they've tried to bury get this treatment. Like fucking what was that animated show? What If got buried like this all the time. But if you go back and you look at their history of trailers, WandaVision dropped, or the first trailer dropped September 20th, 2020. the series dropped January 15th, 2021. Hawkeye, first trailer dropped September 13th, 2021. The season dropped November 24th, 2021. So we have a history of Marvel doing stuff where they at least give it a 2-month window or 2.5-month window to promote it. It's giving itself a 1.5-month window. Now, what they should have done is, knowing how much people care about Sinners right now, is you're throwing, Ryan Coogler, director of Black Panther. I get that Disney doesn't like to do the cross promotion of, it's the director or producer of this movie from other studios. But it's hot. People care about it right now.
I can imagine that conversation was had when it was because I can definitely imagine that in the promotion of this, it was like, yo, do we put, because first off, you got to remember, no one, let's keep it a buck, nobody expected Sinners to do what Sinners did and what Sinners is doing, right? Let's just keep it a buck. Now, I hear you. What? Go ahead.
I always thought Sinners was going to hit the 200. I just didn't expect it to do it in
out the gate. Did you expect Sinners to hit?
I didn't expect it to do it in less than a month. I expected it in a month and a half. And we know it's really about to start hitting its decline with some of these other releases coming out this upcoming week. That's I just thought it would have been a slow burn. I didn't expect the less than a 4% drop in its second weekend. You know what I mean?
No one did.
Yeah. Outside of that, it's performed how I expected it to. That's all I was getting at.
I knew it was going to make money. I'll be honest. I knew it was going to make money. I did not know it was going to make the amount of money it made, let alone its first weekend, more than anything. The word of mouth is always amazing for anything, no matter what we're talking about. Word of mouth is a beast, right? Let's just keep it a buck. Word of mouth changes everything. But I did not expect it coming out the gate. So I don't think that was in the conversation initially. Now, I know to change an opening title credit it's only something just adding a little bit of font. Mm-hmm. I get that. But I don't know. Again, I think it is the whole, did we want to cross promote studios? And yes, it is weird because
it's still proximity entertainment on both sides.
Well, not even just that. Not even just the fact it's proximity. If you go to another studio, if you look at what DC is doing with Superman, they literally are from the director of Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, that's it. I think the difference in that is that director for Superman is also the head of the studio. That's where a difference. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get that.
He's the head of the studio, so it's a little bit different. He has ultimate say so with a lot of this shit on how things go. I don't know if Kevin Feige would have been against it. I know Kevin Feige is that type of person that wants everybody to win. He wants comic book movies as a whole to thrive. But I get it. I think you want people, first of all, what Disney wants to do. Ryan Coogler made this. He's the executive producer of this. He created they gave you Black Panther and Wakanda Forever. So what they want you to do is before June 24th to go to the Ironheart is to
rewatch Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever. And both, actually. They want you to they want you to run up them streams. Because remember now, a lot of tiers are my phone ain't unlocking? Okay. A lot of tiers on Disney Plus are ad supported. So a lot of people ain't paying for ad free. Let's just be real. So they want people to. I am posting this on Instagram because I am not streaming through Instagram. Man, that arm looked good right there.
Oh Jesus,
man, that left arm, that bicep right there looked good, boy. I just noticed that. All right. So with that being said, we have been talking about Ironheart. The trailer dropped today. Okay. And like Matt was saying, from executive producer Ryan Coogler, director of Black Panther and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Every dream has a cost. Look, I think Dominique Thorne is in the prime position to pop and blow up because of this. I think what we saw in a lot of these, like I didn't have every single steal, but a bunch of the steals that I got, dude, this looks like another rendition from the armor she had in Wakanda Forever. But this shot right here, bro, the shot of her jump in the suit coming on like Tony's suit, dog. When I tell you, I was elated. Go ahead.
So real quick, you talk about you think Dominique Thorne is in a position to pop. I gotta know, did you see Freaky Tales this past April?
No, she's in that.
Yeah, and she was fucking phenomenal. Like,
okay, I have not seen it. Go ahead.
It's got her. It's got homie who plays the human who's obsessed with the Sullys, like that family member in the newest Avatar film. Pedro Pascal's in it.
You're watching the motherfucking newest Avatar. This nigga's 1 to 22,000. I know it made money, man. Niggas ain't going to watch Avatar. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I know a lot of niggas who watch Avatar. So hey, but yeah, it's an anthology series. But she has her part of the story, and all of them end up interconnecting at the end. But her part of the story, she plays this rapper who is part of a rap duo, and they're just trying to make it, and they end up having a rap battle with Too Short.
That's right.
And it was fucking awesome, and she was great in it. And I was like, yo, if this is what we get of her in like a toned down version, because Freaky Tales is rated R, that's what we get of her in Ironheart. That got me more excited for the movie, or not movie, for the series. However, I was kind of bored watching this trailer. I'm like, I needed something like outside of the beginning. The beginning was the most interesting part to me. Like I knew we were gonna. Yes,
I just want to show you that. Just go ahead.
But like outside of
you like seeing Anthony Ramos as the hood?
Listen. I knew like if it. My thing is, we knew we're getting Anthony Ramos as the hood. We knew we were getting shit like this because this shit's been dropping. Like, but I'll be honest, the featurette we got yesterday leading into this trailer got me more excited for the series than this trailer did.
Okay. What did you want a lot out of the trailer, or
because of the circumstances of us being literally like 40 days out? Yes.
But so here's my thing with that, as I always like to say, I think we gotta. I think you were given enough to know that you got Dominique Thorne, you got Anthony Ramos as the hood. You don't know fully what about him. You just know there's some mystical elements, some magic, if you will. You know he's robbing stuff. You know she goes to MIT, and for me, the best thing is set in Chicago going before she go to MIT. You ain't got to tell me shit else. But I've always said this, and I'll continue to say this. I don't think we need too much. And I understand, yes, it's not that far away, et cetera, et cetera. I get it. But like, what do you want?
I wanted a little bit more of the story, I guess. Like they gave us shades of story. But when I'm a month away from a project, and every other trailer they normally drop a month out in their history gives you shades of a story.
No, it gives you more. It gives you the fucking story, and it gives you everything. And I think that's an issue.
There are trailers that don't give you everything.
Q Hepton says, "Peace to Jay and the co-host." That's just that nigga. Ari Quinn says, I feel like with Anthony Ramos' popularity from Hamilton, Disney missed a huge opportunity in promoting the show with that.
I don't think Disney cares. Like that's just been sitting there making them money from the theater kids. Me being one of them.
Yeah, I don't think they gave a shit about Hamilton. They're like Hamilton, because there are some theater kids who are gonna go see it, yes, but for the most part, there are some who just don't, who really could care less.
But the general public, you're better off mentioning what was that? Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
That's what I was gonna bring up.
Or Twisters. Like
that's what it was. Yeah, he was just in Twisters.
Like homie's been listen for me, and I know this is a theater thing, a theater one also, but also the movie just slaps. In the Heights. He was the lead in that. Like homie has built a solid little portfolio.
Oh, he absolutely has. Q Up also said, "Why can't they just add an X-Men in the series and make it more interesting?" Here's the thing, and I'm going to say, there's no need for one. Also, I've said this a lot, and I think a lot of people have to. I'm going to be looking back and forth doing a bunch of different things. I think a lot of people need to realize this. We are not getting X-Men until Secret Wars, because if you introduce any X-Men directly right now, you will not be allowed to tell the rest. I keep saying it. You will not be
getting any new casting until.
Well, not even that. The story. No, I think the biggest thing is if we have the X-Men introduced right now, the general populace of audience will not allow Marvel to tell the rest of their story they're telling, leading up into us getting them fully and moving on to them. Meaning,
Jay, I agree with you. I was just bringing up the fact that we get that little crew in Doomsday.
Oh yeah. We'll get that little crew in Doomsday. We're gonna get the original X-Men to get eliminated in the original Doomsday. Then whoever our next batch of X-Men are will show up in Secret Wars. And then at the end of Secret Wars, once the worlds are reset after the battle world or whatever happens, however it goes, once everybody is together, once the world has a new history where the X-Men, the Avengers, all of them, the Fantastic Four, have been in this world forever, because that's what's going to happen after everything resets. To the average person, everything is like, yeah, you mean the Avengers? They fought them. The X-Men, they do their thing. Fantastic Four, yeah, they live in that building. It's going to be one of those things. That's when you'll start having your stories based on the mutants going forward.
But Q, you can't take the Fox X-Men in this, because this is Ryan Coogler has said he views this in like the same vein as a Daredevil, as the Punisher, like of those Netflix type series, because it's more low profile, telling a character story.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put a Fox X-Men in this, now you turn it into a multiversal shit, and it just takes away from what the story's supposed to be.
Exactly. So I think, let this play itself out. But there's a lot of things I saw in this that really, I see Buckstall says, I agree. They should have told more in the trailer with this.
And that's my issue. Because it was
a movie, then I'd have been good with what they showed. So I think, I respect everybody's opinions on it, minus Matt's, but
it's the same opinion.
I think because with films, you got to remember with movies in general, we get so many trailers and TV spots. Now we have this thing where for a fact you're going to get 3 trailers, right? You're going to get the teaser, you're going to get the first official trailer, and then the final trailer. Right. Then you're going to get
some movies case you get 4.
And then you get all the TV spots in between, right? Mm-hmm. So that's with movies. I get it. With the series, because the problem is if you want to save some surprises, you can't give it all away in the trailers. I've said this before, whether it be here or on the podcast. I hate we've become this society that has to know everything. I understand wanting to see some things to quote unquote hype anticipation. I hear that. I'm with it. I understand. Believe me, I do. But at the same time, we have to allow an element of surprise to come back. Like honestly.
That's why I hate the binge model. I agree.
Huh?
That's why I hate the binge model. I agree with that.
Yeah. And I hate the fact that, like yesterday, the announcement that Kristen Ritter was returning as Jessica Jones for Daredevil. I mean, we knew it was going to happen, but I would have rather us either seen it in the official trailer when they dropped season 2's trailer, or in season 2. Like, we have to have a surprise.
I think that one was more done out of the safety of things, considering how many set leaks have popped off.
Yeah, I think so too. I definitely think that's what it was, though. I figure like they were like somebody that took a photo of her with him with the suit on. Somebody took a photo with him with the suit on, and because now he's wearing he's wearing the black version of the suit,
and it's fading away to red as we've seen it in some of these pictures.
What'd you say?
In some of the newer pictures, you can see that it's degrading back to red by the end of the series. So that's what I said.
The color's wiping or whatever he sprayed it with is wiping off.
It's just wearing off. So,
but yeah, it's like, but there's a picture more than likely of the two of them together at some scene from on set because they've been shooting season 2 this whole time.
Or they're about to start shooting with her, and they're just like, "Fuck it."
They're well into season.
I know they're well into season 2, but I'm saying her parts they could have held off on as long as possible.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I agree. Yeah. I agree.
And they know they're about to start shooting, and it's like, well, fuck, somebody's gonna leak this if we don't just fucking announce it right here.
Because we're gonna shoot some shit on the street. We can't, people gonna see it regardless. So might as well just let it be known what it is. That is, I hate it. It sucks. Everybody wants to be a roving reporter and shit now. I think that's the thing. Somebody said, Q ever said, Luke Cage would be great for Daredevil. Look, if Mike comes back to Daredevil, they convinced him with a truck. And somebody who was talking to Mike don't want to do that no more. But money talks, bullshit walks.
I'm pretty sure Mike's show just got canceled recently.
And his show just got canceled, so the nigga needs a job. So the man needs a job.
And why not take the Disney bag?
I mean, yeah, I guess it's just if you look, the reason he stopped doing it is similar to the same reason that Hugh Jackman wanted to stop working as Hugh Jackman didn't want to be Wolverine. Chris Hemsworth didn't want to be Thor. Hey, I'm not trying to do that workout schedule, which I get.
Hey Jay, if Disney offered you about $5 million to take over the role, you just gotta get it in shape as Mike was. Would you do it?
Hold on, let me figure out the best way to answer this question for you. Give me 1 second. I
thought that would be an easy question.
Nope. I know how to answer this for you so that we have no misunderstandings. Now, look, answer that question one more time just so I can make sure we have an understanding. Answer that question.
Jay, if Disney offered you $5 million to get in the same shape that Mike Coulter was for Luke Cage, would you do it to replace him?
My GoFundMe is up right now because I need help trying to pay money for this fucking vaccine. I got a GoFundMe up right now. I'm trying to fund because I can't fully work out the spine surgery. Nigga, you asking what I take? Motherfucker, I'd be a rabbit, carrot eating, boiled steamed chickens, drinking 79,000 push-ups, sit-ups every day. Nigga, I'm getting knee extensions. You want me? Look, Jay, we need you to get some height. Go on, break my legs and stretch them out. Do what you got to do, Jesus. Does it answer your question?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I want to make sure I want to make sure there's no misunderstanding, nigga. I'm absolutely doing it.
Okay.
Just want to again.
Understood.
Just want to make sure we got to understand together, okay? But again, some of the different things, like I said, to watch the scenes of her with the suit,
those were awesome.
Because to me personally, it was very reminiscent. The aesthetic is very reminiscent of the first Iron Man. It's very reminiscent of it. Now, there's a couple things that I saw. So this is what it seems. So this is her talking to potentially an AI. Now, this may be her Natalie AI. So, because a lot of people want to see Tony Stark show up as a hologram, because in the comics, he isn't one. Right. And which brings me to something as well, because I don't think, and I got to rewatch Wakanda Forever. She didn't do, this isn't like in the comics. She didn't repurpose an old suit, did she?
No, it looks like she's building from the ground up again, but like.
Right. She's building from the ground.
Remember, her suit got completely destroyed in Wakanda Forever.
No, I get it. But what I'm saying is the initial thing for Riri in the comics is that Riri found an old decommissioned Iron Man suit, and because she was a genius, she was able to hack it and get it to operate.
Okay.
So, first of all, I'm glad somebody came on here with this stupid shit. Here we go. Let me go ahead and tell these stupid motherfuckers are assholes. Here we go. No, not fans. No fans. You whining ass, bitch made ass Snyder Cult people. It's not fans. Stop whining. Let this shit the fuck go. You motherfuckers keep crying. I've said this every time. I don't know why these motherfuckers keep whining. We don't want James Gunn to do it. We want Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill don't even want to be fucking Superman no more. Y'all act like Zack Snyder is gonna come back to Warner Brothers or they're gonna bring him back. Let it the fuck go. Go touch grass. Go touch grass. Find a friend. Play with yourself in a blender. Swallow. I'm done. Go ahead.
Listen. In regards to that comment, when Henry Cavill actually plays Superman and not a broody, moody teenager, then we can talk. That's in that 3-minute trailer. I got more Superman than I have gotten since 2006, or was it 2007 when Superman Returns dropped? That is the most Superman we have gotten since 1977.
I will say this: so now let's just go ahead and move on to it. The Superman trailer. We've been getting so many featurettes, so many teasers, so many different things. The way it starts out, just with Lois being like, wait, so you're going to let me interview you as Superman? We already know that we don't have to do this whole, I have the secret identity to Lois, right? Which is great. Thank God. We're past it.
From what I've been told is early on, it's going to start off like that, but they're just going to nip it in the bud early on to open up the story.
Of course. It's going to be, he's been Superman for a while now. Yeah. But the beautiful thing about that is I need people to understand how nuance works. And you want to know when I say nuance? He sits down. Okay, Conkrite. She hits record. Well, Miss Lane, whole personality, demeanor, facial expressions, voice, everything.
Something we hadn't seen in 20 fucking years.
Every single thing from him being Clark Kent to Superman changes in a millisecond.
The last time we really saw it was Reeves. I give Ralph credit because Ralph gets shat on more than he deserves. He did a very solid job, but he did more so trying to just replicate Reeves instead of making it his own because he was in a pseudo sequel. But fucking David Corenswet, the leaning forward, Ms. Lane, and seeing how he himself is sticking up, putting his line in the fucking sand. I'm not here to serve a government. I am here to save the fucking world.
Bro said people were gonna die. Bitch, what? Also, let me tell you what was hilarious about this, and I said it in my reaction to it, which is here on the channel you can check. When she started questioning this nigga, it was like, hey, bitch, hold on. Hold on, bitch. Wait a minute. What is all what is all of this? Because but that's the thing, though. That's what I loved about it as well, too, because even though Lois knows who he is, she came at him. She was like, I'm going to come at you as a regular reporter. I'm a reporter. So I'm going to ask you the questions I would ask you if I did not know who you were. And that's what made it best to me. That's one of the things that made it great to me. And then also him being, like you said, him being Superman. Again, that whole people were gonna die, man. What are you talking?
Exactly. Like,
Yes, Miss Lane.
And then you got a little bit of his goofiness as Clark, and he had that like dancing shit going on the planet. It looked like later in the trailer.
Yes.
I was like, this is it.
This was the most Superman line. Superman says,
"Eyes up here,
buddy. Hey, buddy. Eyes up here." It's the most Superman line from Superman. Okay, I need y'all to understand that. It is probably the most Supermanish line that he could have said. But I think this goes to the question that Hugh Hefner asks. Will Superman reach $1 billion in ticket sales?
I want it to. I think we're gonna more so get like an 800 to 900 million, just because it is coming out in some of the busiest time of the summer. And it's one of those things. The week before it, we had Jurassic World, then we had Superman. I think I Know What You Did Last Summer is the week after Superman, and then you got Fantastic Four. So you have three in a 4-week span. You have 3 different franchises fighting for the summer movie box office.
And there's no way you're going to get that kind of money just going around in this day and age, unfortunately. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I think what Superman has going for it is the James Gunn of it all, and for the most part, positive feeling that people have with this film outside of dumbass Snyder Bros. Because they have this new DC, and it's like they're making it clear this is new, this is different. That's why we're starting with Superman off rip, so you guys know this is a refresh. Like, let's be honest, that's part of the reason they're starting with Superman off rip. So that's what Superman has in its favor. It also has in its favor that the next movie to come out is I Know What You Did Last Summer, and there's not too much overlap audience-wise there. So it has to be like Thunderbolts and make the majority of its money in those first 2 weeks. Those first 2 weeks essentially. So I don't think it will hit the 1 billion. I think it has the out of all of them, the potential to get closest. Actually, I shouldn't say that, because Jurassic World movies always eat over in China. So as long as China gets that,
as long as China gets Jurassic World hits $1 billion regardless.
Yes, but I'm pretty sure it's already confirmed that China is getting Superman, so it's got that going for it. But yeah, it's going to be close. I think it outperforms Fantastic Four, and I just say that because there are still people who don't trust Marvel fully. I don't think Fantastic Four gets anywhere near as close. The only thing that it has going for it, in my mind, is that it is the last film before we get Doomsday. So when you factor that in, yeah, cool, but people are gonna be like, well, I can watch it on Disney Plus. You don't know when Superman is gonna hit HBO or streaming. But people know, like, oh, if a Disney movie fails, it's gonna end up on Disney Plus sooner rather than later. And that's just unfortunately what Disney has trained the modern audience to do.
Not just Disney. I think all studios with streaming have done that, where you can look at a movie now, it drops. You can pretty much anticipate 30 to 35 days afterwards, it is going to streaming. 30, 35 days is going streaming. So that is where you get the audience now being like, oh, okay, I can wait because I can wait to watch it at home. I don't need the movie experience. And I understand that's one of the biggest things too, is trying to get people to understand certain things need to be seen in theaters to experience it. That is why you have, and I know we're not fully talking about it, but that's why you got a Mission Impossible being what it is. You know, that's why you have Sinner. Go ahead.
Which I still don't think Mission Impossible is even going to win this weekend. I think Lilo and Stitch ends up winning in that weekend.
Yeah. Which is crazy, because this is the craziest thing to me about Disney movies. when it comes to their live action remakes. These motherfuckers be terrible. But because
most of them,
the collective, none of the Lion King movies haven't been good. Okay,
Mufasa was better than the Lion King. I actually dug Mufasa a little bit.
I'm talking about the general reception to him.
Mufasa had a solid reception.
And most people don't like they just aren't. There's a collective per se that just does not like the live action remakes.
And I agree with that.
You know, from Lion King to Pinocchio to Dumbo to Snow White, I can keep going down the list. It's something about that translation from cartoon to live action that the magic is lost in translation. You know what I'm saying? So there's something about that. But I want to see. Let me pull up the summer movie release list.
Starting in June, it's like something almost every week.
It's something every week. I know that's. Oh, How to Train Your Dragon comes out this year.
Middle of June.
Karate Kid Legends.
Yup, have my screening date for that. Yup. Ballerina is the 6th. The following week is How to Train Your Dragon. I forget what is the 20th.
Hold on, let me see. Okay, hold on.
There's
what?
Up until Fantastic Four, it's busy essentially every week.
Yeah, so it's because we're literally we're finally playing catch up to COVID.
It's the second year post strike. That's what it is. That's what it really is. It's the second year post strike. It's the
post strike, yeah, post strike too.
And first year post strike is always weak. Second year post strike is normally where you get a really strong year.
Yeah, Lilo and Stitch is May 23rd. Mission Impossible is May 23rd. Karate Kid Legends, Bring Her Back. Phoenician Scream, that's the Wes Anderson movie. That's Bring Her Back. I don't know about that.
That's an A24 horror film from the guys who did the one with whatever that cursed ceramic hand was.
Ballerina is the 6th, along with Echo Valley, The Life of Chuck, Pavements, nah. How to Train Your Dragon is the next weekend, the 13th, followed by Materialist with Elio. It's another Pixar movie. What else is the 20th? We keep sleeping on 28 years later.
That's I knew there was something on the 20th that I couldn't think of. That's
28 years later. The next week is F1 with Brad Pitt and Damson Idris, and then Megan 2.0, which I am not supporting at all.
Why?
Talk to you about that off air.
Okay.
Because I told you my friend created Megan.
No, you never told me that.
My friend Kayla Cooper created Megan.
Okay.
And that's all I'll say. Jurassic World is July 2nd. The Old Guard 2, but that's Netflix. That's July 2nd. 40 Acres is the Danielle Deadweiler. The 40 Acres movie is July 4th. Superman is July 11th.
Medea for the Black Crowd. Oh, that's Netflix. Never mind.
What?
Medea's Destination Wedding is a Netflix flick joint.
Thank God. I Know What You Did Last Summer is the
18th.
Oh, it's a requel. Oh, okay.
Yep.
And Fantastic Four is 25th. And the Happy Gilmore 2 is 25th. With that, Oh Hi, 25th together. Don't know what that is. Naked Gun is on the 1st of August.
Yep.
Freakier Friday is
The Bad Guys 2 is on the 8th or is on August 1st.
What?
The Bad Guys 2. It's a family film, so you got to factor in the not a lot of family films coming out around the time. The first one did very solid at the box office. That's why I bring it up.
Okay. Yeah.
Weapons. The Zach Krieger horror film.
Yeah. Weapons. Nobody 2, August 15th. Highest to lowest, August 22nd. Yeah, man.
The Toxic Avenger, which people have been begging for, August 29th.
Oh, it finally is releasing.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
then
again.
And then September 5th, you have The Conjuring Last Rites.
Well, that's going into Halloween. So that's the Halloween.
But my point is like it essentially it doesn't really let up at all. For like after that you have Spinal Tap 2, which some people like that'll get people in the theaters regardless. Some people will go to theaters for the Downtown Abbey, the grand finale film. September 19th, you get him. And I think that's and then September 26th, some people will care about this, not me as much. One Battle After Another, which is a new Paul Thomas Anderson flick. And then like October is like where we get the Smashing Machine because Michael's supposedly moving off of its date. Then you have Tron Ares, Black Phone 2.
You are going.
But my point is like for the rest of this year, there's always something coming out. That's why I'm going that far. Like there is always something coming out, essentially.
Yes. And so the question becomes then, like, to answer this question, Q Hefner, because it's literally what I'm about to go to. Q Hefner, any predictions on who will end up winning the theater awards this summer? There really is no telling. There are movies that have so much hype. There are so many movies that have so much traction behind them. But then there are so many artsy movies. There are so many like this is for this specific demographic, right? There can be some movies you hear, oh man, it made 2 million or made 3 million or made a couple 100,000. You're like, well, that was for that crowd. That was it. But we're not looking at a movie slate where you got a chance to have a movie run for a while and like run crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Thunderbolts will be out of top 10 by next 2 weeks.
Maybe by next week even.
But maybe by next week. You get Thunderbolts out of the top 10. So then you're looking at like, fuck, what do we? So if you're these studios, you're just gotta you hedge your bets and say, all right, well, we just got to do what we do and just hope that our fans come out. But the problem is your fan bases for a lot of these different franchises hinge on other films as well.
Q says these blockbusters are aging like milk. See, normally that happens in the second year post strike because you have so much shit coming out, as we've just elaborated, that movies don't really get a chance to make as much. Like studios realize this year they're not real. Some movies are going to underperform just because they don't have much time to breathe at the cinema. Like that, and that's why you have Warner's sitting here knowing like, hey, we're only putting out a couple movies this year. Most of our big money stuff has already come out, and that's why they're throwing all of this marketing right now behind Superman because they can.
Also, Warner is trash right now.
They are.
I say that first of all, the company decided, hey guys, at the upfronts, we're going to make a great announcement. You want to know what the announcement is?
We're going back to HBO Max.
We're going back to HBO Max. And I, like many other people, was like, nigga, I've stayed calling
exactly.
HBO Max. Is Mama named HBO Max? I'm going to call them HBO Max.
HBO Max, exactly.
Like, I was on a show that was on HBO Max. People were like, don't you mean Max? I was on a show that was on HBO Max. I know what I said. No, but you were on. I was on a show that was on HBO Max. So you can't just Control Z something to undo it like it never been done and think people are going to look at you differently. At this rate, I was reading a couple of articles, and people may be believing that the Warner Brothers Discovery might be splitting again.
Yep.
And if that be the case, then Zaslav can go some fucking where else. Hopefully.
We can only hope.
But again, going back to Superman making $1 billion. There is hope that it can. There's hope that it does. Again, a lot of the problem is I think one of the biggest issues we don't discuss a lot, which first, let me go back even further. First off, none of us, myself, Matt, any pundits, critics, reviewers, none of us work in these studios directly responsible for the money. So why do we care if a film makes $1 billion? We shouldn't. A lot of us, we look too much at like, well, this movie got to do this much. And we really shouldn't care because it's not on us to care. I'm just going to be straight up and honest. A lot of us invest way too much into it. And it's like, there's no reason for that. So, but a lot of these films now, when we talk about this quote unquote $1 billion mark, they are always indicative on the overseas market.
Mm-hmm.
There is not
always have been.
Right.
Always have been.
There's not a such thing. There is not a world. There is not a world where a movie will make $1 billion just in America.
Which is why people like Jay and myself have made a big deal about these tariffs. Because that's ultimately going to affect the ability to do that going forward. Am I wrong?
Please elaborate for people.
Because a lot of countries are talking about retaliatory tariffs or not screening movies filmed in America or that filmed by America because you want to tariff our films coming into your country by 100%. Fine, we can do the same or just not stream your shit or screen your shit altogether. And we know you need our box office to make these movies money. So one thing's going to happen. You're going to start seeing more studios and companies start to use shit like the fucking Volume and have some flat ass looking pictures. Unless you have people like Greg Fraser who know how to use that bitch because he developed it, you're going to have just movies failing left and right. That's it.
Yeah. This is. I don't want to get too political on anything, but people need to understand it. Well, what about American-made movies and blah blah blah? I understand that, and I say that as an actor, as a working actor
in LA. One of what used to be the hub of all this shit,
the hub of Hollywood,
flailing its arms lately, trying to figure shit out.
Right, because now it's not even about making it in America. Now you have these other states that are doing a bidding war per se on their tax breaks.
Ohio is being one of them. We've gotten more films here. Like 90% of what you're going to see shot outside in Superman, if it's Metropolis or the beach scene or things like that, was shot in Cleveland, Ohio, where I am from. And
wait, beach? You all have a beach?
Yeah. That beach scene where you saw Nathan, that was filmed here. Menor Headlands Beach, about 25 minutes from my house.
Y'all have a beach?
At Lake Erie, yes. I'm close to the lake.
I mean, you guys are called the Mistake by the Lake, so why would you have
We have multiple beaches.
I mean, it's a lot of bitches in Cleveland, but
and we are not called the Mistake by the Lake. That is Brown Stadium is the Mistake by the Lake.
No, that's the whole city. I've been there. I
live here.
I've been there. Okay.
But you get my point. Like,
yeah. And so when you have that, but still, also here going back to the tariff things, people have to understand it. You want your Lord of the Rings, you want your Harry Potters, you want your Middle Earth sci-fi excursions. You don't have the topography here for it. And I'm not saying here is in LA. You don't have the topography here in the United States for it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the aesthetics you want in America. And if you think, oh, well, they can just build it, then you're talking about an astronomical production budget. Or trying to say,
you just said green screen. This is what Jay's talking about, the astronomical budget. Because if you do green screen, you have to pay the artist, you have to pay the digital artist, and then there becomes a whole AI issue that we.
That is a whole other thing too. When you try to let's just green screen. Yeah, there's a whole other budgetary thing. It is.
That's why I said people use the Volume, because that's what slashes the budget down.
Yeah, just make have it. I know a couple of Star Trek. Star Trek has the newest ones have a volume wall to help out with a lot, but it's you do you go to these places, you go to a London, you go to an Ireland, you go to a New Zealand because the aesthetic you
Australia
want
even.
in Australia, because the aesthetic you want is only found there. And if not, because look, there's been the joke about, all right, so y'all say just shoot all these movies here, right? Cool. So you want Lord of the Rings shot in Brooklyn?
And Q, green screen isn't killing Disney Plus. The volume is killing Disney Plus.
They're using
Let's
the
make
volume
that.
wall.
They use the volume wall, and Disney starting to use the volume wall on more than just their TV series. And see, Nigel just making a great point. Andor built sets and used the volume
Use the
for
volume to help.
but they
Yes.
still built sets. They actually also filmed on location for a lot of Andor.
Same
That was
with
common.
Mandalorian. Same with Mandalorian,
Mhm.
Obi-Wan. The volume for them was not the main. The volume was the ambiance.
Mm-hmm.
It was about the practical sets.
Or the set pieces that helped build
Yes.
out the volume.
Yes, because you just relying on a volume wall is going, woo.
And we saw that with Thor: Love and Thunder, where they just relied on a volume wall, essentially.
But that's also unfortunate. So here's the problem. And again, pulling the curtain back on the industry. When you rely on the volume wall, what you're doing is you're basically saying, we want to keep this money as tight as we can and not spend it, right? So, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. So Matt, I'll let you go ahead and do it, and I'll do as well. So Matt, go ahead and explain the
So what the volume wall is essentially, instead of being a green screen where you have to do everything in post, it is a giant screen from floor to ceiling, and even the ceiling itself, in some cases, is a part of the volume wall. And it is already computer-generated images using Unreal Engine that creates your background, anything that you may need, and you put various set pieces, whether that be some floor, or in the case of Mandalorian, the back end of his ship in season 1, rocks, everything else. And what happens is the camera will move along and the picture on the screen will change with it. Think of it like Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, where there's the scene where they're sneaking into the Kremlin and they have that screen that they put in front of it. And the camera makes sure that the guard that they're trying to trick, the perspective of that hallway they're filming changes to go along with them. So it's very similar to that. Disney dropped a whole thing on the volume on their YouTube, I want to say. Or it was in the Mandalorian season 1 documentary on Disney Plus. It was one of the two. So
yeah, it just makes it look. It
knocks out the need for green screen.
It knocks out the need for green screen and making sets. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. It's a fancier version than having a green screen. You can, and with the volume wall, you can basically, like you said, your actors can move around, and the volume can adjust to it as well.
And they can actually interact and get an idea of where they're going to be, and that helps them in their acting in some cases. And some actors spoke on that.
Right. So you're like, all right, so according to the volume wall, this is right down here, but it's not really there. This is what the volume wall is showing. So it's a thing of what you'll see on the videos, what you'll see on the picture. It like I said, it's expensive to use it, but it's less expensive than building out full practical sets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Q. This is why all these damn movies are like video games.
Yep, that's like Q. I am putting this in the chat so you can go find it after the fact. Insider set 4 years ago. Why the Mandalorian uses virtual sets over green screen. They have a YouTube video on it, and I'm putting it in the chat so you can find it for later. So
yeah, so you can it basically changes things. So when you have these, if you can't, so going back to the whole Lord of the Rings and anything filmed over in those areas, right, with that type of aesthetic, with a volume wall, unless you need the actual water to hit or something like that, you can put a smoke machine up, of course, to make fall.
Mm-hmm.
But the volume wall allows you to have all that, and it doesn't have. You'll sense something is off when you're watching it. You'll be like, this looks like it's real, but it doesn't feel like it might be. I'm not 100% sure.
Yep.
It'll just those things are what you'll see. So when people say, well, that's how you can produce more things here. Yes,
And they do speed up the process a bit.
also. It does, but it absolutely does. But it's also when you want them to speed it up and you want them to say, hey, well, just do it here. When you watch that final product, you have to be able to accept, all right, this is what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? This is what I wanted. I wanted it done here. So this is how they have to make up for it. It's a lot. Like I said, it's a giant. It's game engines. It's a giant video game. So,
and they're able to make everything ahead of time and just throw it on in there.
Yeah, it's just a program.
Mm-hmm.
So, case in point, let's say Superman was all done with a volume wall. Let's say Ironheart was done with a volume wall. Now we know her flying so by the way, a lot of her suits are practical.
Yep. We've seen a lot of back when this was filmed and what wasn't actually filmed, 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of set leaks. So we know this was not used primarily.
A lot of this is practical. Mm-hmm. So that's another good thing about it. Oh, excuse me, my goddamn back. Oh.
You're good, bro.
Whew. Sorry, guys. Had spinal surgery not too long ago. Shut the fuck up. Sorry, somebody's kids outside running around. I don't know why I had to be aggressive with it.
So, Q, what practical means is it's real sets, it's real props. It's not something it might get CGI enhancements in post, but for the most part, what you see on that screen is what's there.
Case in point. Boy, if y'all don't shut the fuck up all that screaming. Sorry. I became an old man.
I bet your kids are glad they don't live with you. You would have been whooping some ass. I gotta pause this stream real quick. Don't shut your ass up.
Hey man, I gotta be right back. I'll go back to Iron Man. So
the first Iron Man, yeah.
The first Iron Man. The top half of the suit is real.
Mm-hmm.
The top half is real.
And the CGI enhancement was the
arc reactor. Yeah. The arc was the CGI. The legs and stuff like that were CGI. But yeah, when he wears it, he's actually wearing a top piece and the bottom is like a mocap suit, basically. Shit. The Iron Spider suit is all a mocap suit, which is crazy.
Actually, every Spider-Man suit has been a mocap.
Yeah, that is
Civil War. They gave him an actual suit, but had a lot of dots on it and did a lot of enhancement.
Yeah, because then they did it with the face. Yeah.
But after Civil War, everything has been a mocap suit.
Every Spider-Man suit has been a mocap suit. That has been crazy to me.
I hope this new one isn't going to be though. So,
I mean, if it's as shiny as it's going to be, if it's that light blue reflective light, that light blue reflections that it had when the end of No Way Home, it is absolutely going to be. It is absolutely going to be a mocap suit, but get it.
Well, I just mean like even in the scenes where he's standing still, a lot of that is still mocap. I hope in those scenes where like he's not doing action and whatnot, it's a real physical suit. That's what I was getting at.
I guess, and the only reason I can assume that they did mocap over practical for Spider-Man suits is because Tom does a lot of the movements himself. And it's probably hard to catch everything, where with a mocap suit, you can catch every single thing and it's automatically registered in the computer.
Wait, I do think for No Way Home, that was the least mocap suit that we had. Because he's got his mask off a lot of it, and we've seen the pictures of him behind the scenes.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, when he definitely wears a regular suit, but it's like when he's performing, moving around.
Yeah, when the mask is on, it's more than likely a mocap suit.
Yeah. Oh, Q, we're bringing down everything to you today, huh? So yeah, motion capture is just basically what it sounds like. Just catching what people do. What else?
You see, so essentially, it's those gray those gray sweatsuits for you have like ping pong balls or dots, or like even when they do it with the face, they paint the dots on the performer's face, and then it
Let me
caps
tell
it.
you.
Like
Let me
it's
tell
what they
you
did for
though.
Planet of the Apes, the Andy Serkis Planet of the Apes, what they did for Gollum. That the actors giving the actual performance, they throw the digital layer on top of it.
I'm gonna tell you what would have been a little bit difficult for me to comprehend, and that would have been like if I'd have had to do Infinity. Like, let's say I was an actor on
Not
Infinity
Madden,
War.
but 2K. They use them for 2K. Madden
Okay,
is
yeah,
just
and,
Madden is
and for every
completely,
WWE game, the wrestlers that they
which
bring
is 2K.
in, which is
Sorry, I had to.
I will not kill this boy. Okay.
Just ignore that. Just ignore that last comment.
Yeah, I am. What was I about to say? I lost what I was about to say.
You said every wrestler they bring in for two.
Oh yeah, when wrestlers they bring in for 2K, they wear the mocap suits.
Mm-hmm.
So they do that. If I was an actor and I was in Infinity War Endgame, I think it would have to be. I would have had to have worked a couple of films prior to be able to converse with either Josh Brolin or Mark Ruffalo properly, because when you're standing with, okay, let me see if I can get into my damn. I gotta go to this fucking thing and be my. I don't have a mod on here. I'm gonna go ahead and deal with it real quick. Because when you're standing with when you're acting opposite them, you have to look up. You can't look directly at them.
So that's why they had those extended dull rods with the printed version of a character's face on
Yes,
them, so
yes,
they would interact with
yeah.
that, or
The
tennis balls in the past and things like that.
Well, no, because the face is the face of the character, but the actor is just acting straight up.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what they'll do is they'll have an actor on an Apple box, and while they're on the Apple box, let me see. Let me do this. Report. Trying to do. All right, I'll deal with it.
They're gone. You got them.
Okay.
I'm in the chat and I can see. I have this open on another page and I can see.
All right. What they'll do is they'll have the person standing on an Apple box, and while they're standing on an Apple box, this way they're at least similar to the height that they need to be to reference, for the purpose can reference. So what they'll have is you'll have Josh Brolin, for instance, on a box where he's standing up to where he's almost 8 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's 8 feet. And so then Thanos' head is right above him. But so he's giving the monologues and talking while he's, Thanos. And so now you're looking up, but while you're looking up, what you should see, you're looking at the Thanos face, but now you're like eye level with him. It's just a whole beautiful thing. So yeah. What else is there? I think that was all I wanted to really talk about today.
I do laugh. This became a we were doing what Tom Cruise wants wants studios or film schools to do, and actually teach their talent about the different technology that's used.
I mean, the thing with technology, and I'll say this as an actor too, I see it a lot. It definitely evolves. It definitely changes a lot. What was most basic things at one point are no longer that. Again, mocap or motion capture, CGI. It's weird. The names of things that have changed from CGI to motion capture to AI, all these different, terminologies and stuff like that. All those different things that have changed over the years. And I think a lot of people are not you know, a lot of people aren't versed in it. A lot of people don't pay attention to it, which is cool. If you're not in the industry, it don't matter. You
Right.
shouldn't have to anyway. You shouldn't have to. So, I mean, oops, I hold on. I turned this thing down. See, I'm messing with stuff, and it's weird.
No one can notice. You're fine.
Oh, 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 hold on. Okay, okay, hold on. Oh, shit, shit, shit. Okay, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
Good, good, good. Can you hear me? Uh, it's a little bit pixelated over here. I see. Ah, okay. I shouldn't be messing with everything. All right. Anyway, we gotta wrap this up, man. Look, I want to thank y'all for rocking with your boy. I appreciate everybody who's been listening in the chat, who's been commenting along, everything. Hope you guys got informative stuff. Have fun talking about all these. Like I said, I'm going to try to do these more regularly and more frequently as I can. I've got to drop some stuff on the Patreon, Supervillain Squad Patreon, patreon.com/Mr. J. Washington. Matt, thank you for, I guess, being here. I'm, you know,
No problem, Jay.
you bugged me about it, and I'll let you hear now. Appreciate you being here, man. Go ahead and tell the people they can find you and everything you got going on.
You can find me over at my YouTube channel, Watch Real Entertainment. That's WATREEL Entertainment. My Superman trailer reaction dropped earlier. Starting in June, like almost every day, I'm bringing back my podcast because I got behind because life sucks. Views from Metropolis. That's where I break down all of the Superman media that's come out for the most part over the last since 1977 because I started with the first movie. So you can go check that out there. I know I got to get Jay on for an episode coming up. But yeah, bringing that back. Got a ton of reviews coming out soon. I'll be doing a Mission Impossible review, maybe Lilo and Stitch. I know I'm gonna have a Karate Kid screening, so it's gonna be busy over on my channel relatively soon. So check me out.
I hate that Warner Brothers keeps hitting me with a copyright every time I do a trailer reaction to a movie.
Warner Brothers is the only studio who does that. You're not the only one who has that issue. They just they want every dime from that shit. It's ridiculous.
I was like, bro, what are we doing? Whatever. Y'all already know how to find me. If you don't, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, all of that. Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. Again, if you want to support the GoFundMe, I know I said it has been definitely a hard time trying to rebound from the spinal surgery. And I do not really like posting it because I know everybody else is dealing with their own things. But I have the link in the bio here, and it is in the chat as well. So anything you can, to trust me, it helps out a lot. That also, what else is there? My Superman reaction is up now. My Ironheart reaction is up. I have to review another movie I got to watch. It's going to be up that soon. I am going to go check out Final Destination Bloodlines soon this week. That. Bro, listen, I hate to admit this sometimes, but I'm a Final Destination fan. I love the movies. I will admit they have changed how I live life. I do not drive behind logs. Nigga, I don't get on roller coasters because they won't hold me.
Speaking of which, how did you like that advertisement they're doing with the
because they finally realized to do it. I love it. Low key, I'm glad they did it. I'm like, yo, what took y'all so long? They was like, hey, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Because because the death, because there's always a major death, right?
Mm-hmm.
That kicks off everything. So the first one was the airplane, which I'm not gonna lie, it took a while for a nigga to want to get back on a plane after that, boy. It took a while. The second one is the logs on the highway. I still do not drive around logs when I see them. That's not. The third one is the roller coaster, which, from all intents and purposes, it won't come down. Like bars won't come down over my chest because I work on it a lot. So they won't come down over my chest. And I'm like, oh, God don't want me on here. Nigga, I didn't tell you about the time I went to Disneyland, which one? Disneyland last year. And we were walking to California Adventure because that's the better part. Like if you want the magic and nostalgia, you go to Disney. You go to regular Disneyland.
But if you want Marvel and Star Wars, you go to California Adventure.
Well, there's Star Wars stuff in Disneyland.
I'm just talking about Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. But they was like, "Yo, we finna get on the Incredibles ride." I was like, "Who the fuck is we?"
Coaster?
I was like, "Who the fuck is we?" They was like, "Stop!" They was like, "Come on, you gonna get on?" I was like, "Who the fuck is we?" So I almost got peer pressured into it until we were
built like the Black Mr. Incredible.
Till we were walking by there, and as I look, and as God is my witness, there was a car at the top, upside down, locked. I said, "Let me tell you about how the way my God works." He was like, "You don't need to be on here today." I said, "Who am I to deny you, Jesus? Who am I to deny you, Jesus?" So then you had that, huh?
Just remember, Jay Washington is afraid of upside down loops on a roller coaster.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Absolutely, fuck is. So you had that. The fourth one is the race car event, which you not finna catch me at, nigga. What?
Unless you're a black person in the South, you ain't gonna be at a race car event.
Ain't got damn reason to go. Damn it. The fifth one was the bridge, which fucked me up because I was like, nigga, I'm always terrified driving over bridges now. I'm like, woo, hurry up and get me over this bitch. And this one is the Space Needle in Seattle.
Listen, I'm like Winston. I was like Winston. I'm a bitch when it comes to horror. I have never seen a Final Destination film, and I'm keeping it that way. I do collabs with Bite Size Breakdown. Like, hey, let's do a bigger bite episode of the new Final Destination. I'm like, you're gonna have to find a different host for that episode because I ain't doing it.
Nah, man, you gotta do it, brother. Gotta do it.
Nah.
All right, listen. We'll holler at y'all later. Till then, thank y'all for watching. Talk soon. We out. Don't go nowhere. Bye. All right. Is there an outro? Okay. In screen. Oh, I didn't set the outro video. Hold on. I got to set the outro video. It didn't let me set the outro video. I set the outro video.
Why don't you preset that stuff?
I'm just going to end the stream. I got to take this shit.